that was your springboard into advocacy for gifted learners.
Let me talk about two past experiences of my own that primed me for really appreciating gifted education in the state of Kansas, and then I'll talk to you about that one event. Back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, I was director of the honors program at Emporia State University. And in that capacity, I had a chance to work with a variety of different students and faculty interested in honors education. I was actively involved with the Honors Council that was working both at the regional and the national level. While I was the honors director, I also was the director of the 1992 Kansas Regents Honors Academy. And that was a real seminal experience in my own life. And that was a chance to work with the top rising high school juniors and seniors in the state of Kansas, and just a marvelous opportunity for me personally to have all these students on the Emporia State campus residentially for a month. It was just something pretty spectacular. So that was 1992. I became department chair at Emporia State University in November of 1994. About the time when the State Department of Education produced its first draft report about the future of teacher licensure in the state of Kansas. And much to my dismay, there was not in that proposal any mention of gifted education, of retaining the endorsement for gifted teachers. And in one fell swoop, this proposal was going to eliminate essentially the kind of training that we have been delivering at Emporia State and at other colleges and universities around the state for preparing gifted teachers for working with these gifted students. And that's when it became very clear to me that unless we were out there with the legislators, with the taxpayers, not only in our own efforts but through departments of special ed and gifted education around the state, through the Kansas State Department of Education, that the message had to be given loud and clear that gifted education was important, that it required teacher training of a specific skill set to work with and provide direct services for these wonderful students, these high ability students. And quite frankly, when you recognize the need and know it to be there, you know, the advocacy part is easy. It's a natural response to that. So that was the real catalyst for me, this debacle initially, in that the first proposal for teacher licensure did not contain the gifted endorsement, but then through primarily the efforts of KGTC and its leadership and efforts, then the gifted endorsement was returned pretty forthwith. Actually, I think it was an easy case to make. Some other areas did not fare nearly as well, like driver's education. But gifted education, I think everybody recognized that this was something that needed to be put back into place. And I'll give you an example of a situation that occurred where advocacy should have been stronger, but was not. There is no longer any Kansas Regents Honors Academy. It went through two different cycles. It started at Fort Hays State University and then went alphabetically through the Regents system, and then it went through a second cycle. It was a very minor budget item. Now people are going to say, well, how minor is minor? $100,000. Well, that's a large chunk of change, and I agree. But when you think about two things: one, you're providing a residential experience for all expenses paid for the top 150 rising juniors and seniors, high school juniors and seniors, with courses that are customized by your best teaching faculty. And when you look at that amount within the complete state budget, it's a really small portion of it. The program has been evaluated. It's been very successful, not just in and of itself, but also in successful in meeting the primary goal of the program, which was to retain quality graduates in Kansas once they finish their higher education, to kind of quote unquote stem the brain drain. Right. That program is no longer in operation, is It's a real shame because these real talented high school juniors and seniors now don't have an opportunity like this. And just as importantly, when you have a high ability student who might only be 1 or 2 or 3 in his or her own school, to all of a sudden put that single student from wherever that student comes from with 130 or 140 other students, they have a sense of themselves and a sense of others that's much richer. For a number of students, and I can only speak to the evaluations that we received for the 1992 Academy, but I know that this same comment was repeated over and over again across the duration of the Academy. This was a life-changing experience, and it really was. But it is no more, and so there's always that need to kind of be vigilant in what's happening and make sure that when something is good, that we speak up. We speak up and we speak out to advocate for that good.